Imagine for a moment that the ordinary-looking 1993 United States quarter dollar resting quietly in your hand is not just 25 cents worth of metal, but a silent witness to history, a forgotten artifact of a transforming America, and possibly a hidden treasure that has passed through millions of hands without anyone ever realizing its true potential, because history has taught us one undeniable lesson again and again. The most valuable things in the world rarely announce themselves loudly. Instead, they remain hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize them. And the 1993 quarter dollar is one of those overlooked symbols of time. Born in an era when the United States was stepping into a new global chapter, the Cold War had officially ended, the Soviet Union had collapsed, and the world was watching America redefine its role as the dominant power, while quietly inside its pockets and cash registers. This familiar Washington quarter continued to circulate as if nothing had changed. Yet everything had. Because 1993 was not just another year on the calendar, it was the beginning of a new political era with the election of President Bill Clinton, a time when economic uncertainty blended with optimism. Technology slowly entered American households, and tradition struggled to coexist with rapid modernization. And standing at the center of this transition was the Washington Quarter, carrying the same classical design that dated back decades. Featuring the stoic profile of George Washington, a man from the 18th century, engraved into a coin that was traveling through a late 20th century world, creating a fascinating contradiction that alone makes the 1993 quarter worth studying. Because this coin was more than currency, it was a statement of continuity, stability, and identity at a moment when the world itself was changing shape. And yet, despite being minted in massive numbers at facilities like Philadelphia and Denver, producing hundreds of millions of coins for everyday use, not every 1993 quarter was truly the same. Because within those enormous production runs existed subtle variations, silent minting mistakes, overlooked errors, and exceptionally preserved specimens that would later separate ordinary pocket change from coins worth serious money. And this is where the mystery begins. Because most people assume that rarity is defined only by age or low mintage numbers. But in the world of coin collecting, true value is often hidden in condition, precision, and imperfection. And the 1993 quarter perfectly embodies this paradox, as countless examples were worn down by circulation, scratched by years of use and forgotten entirely, while a small number escaped wear, avoided circulation altogether, or were born with minting errors that transformed them from common change into sought-after collectibles. Errors such as doubled lettering, off-center strikes, weak impressions, and unusual surface details that the untrained eye would dismiss instantly. Yet, to experienced collectors, these tiny abnormalities are powerful clues, signals that a coin is not ordinary, but exceptional. Because in numismatics, a mistake made by the mint can sometimes be worth more than perfection itself. And this is why the 1993 quarter continues to quietly fascinate collectors, dealers, and auction houses across the United States and beyond. As stories continue to emerge of individuals who unknowingly spent rare coins, while others discovered unexpected value hiding inside old jars, drawers, and inherited collections, reinforcing the unsettling idea that extraordinary value often passes right through our hands, without us ever noticing. And that realization alone gives the 1993 quarter an almost eerie quality, because it forces us to confront an uncomfortable question. How many rare coins have already slipped through our fingers simply because we never thought to look closer? And how many still remain undiscovered, circulating silently, blending perfectly into everyday life, while holding the power to change someone's financial future? Because at its core, the story of the 1993 quarter dollar is not just about metal, minting, or money, but about awareness, curiosity, and the thin line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. A reminder that history does not always live in museums or locked vaults, but sometimes sits quietly in your pocket, waiting to be recognized. To truly understand the hidden potential of the 1993 quarter dollar, one must move beyond mystery and step into the precise world of minting details, specifications, and microscopic inspection, because this is where ordinary curiosity transforms into real discovery. And the 1993 Washington quarter follows the classic specifications of the pre-state. Quarterzera, measuring exactly 24.3 millimeters in diameter, weighing approximately 5.67 grams, and composed of a copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of copper nickel alloy, giving the coin its familiar silver appearance despite containing no actual silver. And on the obverse side, the coin displays John Flanagan's iconic portrait of George Washington, with the word Liberty arched across the top, In God We Trust positioned to the left, and the date 1993 centered at the bottom, while the reverse side features the heraldic, bald, eagle with outstretched, wings clutching a bundle of arrows, and an olive branch, surrounded by the inscriptions United States of America, a pluribus unum, and $quarter. Yet while these details appear identical across millions of coins, the true differences emerge when collectors begin examining mint marks, strike quality, surface texture, and alignment. Because in 1993, quarters were struck at 3 primary facilities: Philadelphia with a P mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S, the latter almost exclusively producing proof coins intended for collectors rather than circulation. And identifying the mint mark alone can immediately separate a common coin from a potentially premium one, especially when condition is taken into account. But mint marks are only the first step, because the real inspection begins with careful observation under magnification, ideally using a 10x or higher loop, where collectors search for doubled dies, one of the most valuable and misunderstood mint errors, caused when a coin die receives multiple misaligned impressions during its creation, resulting in visible doubling on letters, numbers, or design elements, often most noticeable on Liberty, the date 1993, or Washington's eye and profile. And unlike machine doubling, which appears flat and shelf-like, true double dies show rounded, raised duplication that follows the original design, making this distinction absolutely critical for determining value. And beyond doubled dies, collectors carefully check for off-center strikes, where the planche was not properly seated during striking, causing part of the design to be missing while the date remains visible. A key factor that dramatically increases desirability, especially when the misalignment is between 10% and 50%, because such errors provide clear visual drama while preserving essential identifying details. And another important category is weak strikes and strike-through errors, where grease, debris, or metal shavings interfered with the strike, resulting in soft details or missing design elements that tell a story of imperfection at the mint. Stories that collectors find endlessly fascinating. While edge inspection is equally important, as the reeded edge of a 1993 quarter should show consistent, evenly spaced grooves and any irregularities. Flattening or missing reeds may indicate improper striking or post-mint, damage that must be evaluated carefully, because not all unusual features increase value. And knowing the difference between mint errors and damage caused by circulation is what separates serious collectors from casual observers. And then there is condition, arguably the most powerful factor in determining value, because a 993 quarter that has spent decades in circulation will show wear on Washington's hair, flattened high points on the eagle's wings, and numerous contact marks, while an uncirculated example, classified as mint state, will retain full luster, sharp details, and minimal marks, with higher grades such as MS65, MS66, and above commanding exponentially higher prices, particularly when certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, which authenticate the coin, assign an official grade, and seal it in a protective holder that adds trust and liquidity to the marketplace. And proof coins, especially 1993S proofs, require an entirely different inspection approach, as they feature mirror-like fields, frosted devices, and razor-sharp details. And any imperfections such as hairlines, spotting, or hazing can significantly affect their grade and value, meaning even collector-issued coins must be handled with extreme care. And for those checking coins at home, the process should always follow a disciplined routine. First, confirm weight and diameter, using a digital scale and calipers to rule out altered or counterfeit pieces. Then examine the coin under strong, angled lighting to reveal surface anomalies, followed by magnified inspection of lettering, date, and key design elements. And finally, compare the coin against verified examples from trusted references. Because in the world of numismatics, knowledge is the most powerful tool. And the difference between a forgotten quarter and a valuable collectible often comes down to patience, precision, and the willingness to look closer than everyone else. And this is exactly why the 993 quarter remains such a compelling subject, because it teaches a simple but powerful lesson. Extraordinary value is rarely obvious at first glance, and sometimes the only thing separating a common coin from a remarkable discovery is the decision to stop, examine, and truly understand what you are holding.